First contact fallout. The Galactic Alliance had existed for 12 millennia, uniting over 30 species across 7 spiral arms. Their civilization had grown through careful diplomacy, technological exchange, and mutual respect. Most new species were gradually introduced to the vastness of galactic society over centuries of careful contact. Humans were different. In the Grand Chamber of the Alliance Council on Helios Station, High Chancellor Vexlar's 4 arms gestured with growing agitation as the holographic displays showed Earth's rapid technological advancement. From combustion engines to rudimentary space travel in less than 2 centuries, the insectoid leader chittered, compound eyes reflecting the blue glow of the displays. And now they have achieved faster-than-light capability in just 70 years of spaceflight. This defies all developmental models. Ambassador Thaloran of the aquatic Mirith rose from her hovering water sphere. High Chancellor, with respect, many of our intelligence reports regarding humanity come from a single source. Perhaps we should verify. Verify, interrupted General Kraz, his scaled skin flushing crimson. The Drakari military leader slammed a clawed fist on the table. Our deep space monitors have detected their test flights. They have achieved the threshold far earlier than predicted. And look at their history. The hologram shifted to display scenes of human warfare throughout the centuries. They fight constantly among themselves, Kraz continued. They develop weapons before medicine. And now they prepare an armada. The humans call it the exploration fleet, but we all recognize a military buildup when we see one. Science Director Ilara, with her luminescent skin and large eyes characteristic of the Lumidian species, studied the data with growing concern. Something about the reports felt inconsistent with her own research, but she kept her doubts to herself for now. The Alliance has survived by being cautious, Vexlar stated. We will position our defensive fleet near the edge of human space. If they launch this armada as our intelligence suggests, we will be ready. Commander Sarah Chen had never expected to make history quite like this. The Earth Space Service ship Pioneer gleamed under the lights of the launch bay, its sleek hull designed for exploration rather than combat. At 180 meters long, it was humanity's first true deep space vessel, equipped with the revolutionary Alcubierre drive that would carry humans beyond their solar system for the first time. Final systems check complete, Commander, reported Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, the ship's operations officer. All green across the board. Chen nodded, her dark eyes moving across the bridge crew with quiet confidence. Thank you, Lieutenant. Dr. Okafor, drive status. Dr. Adebayo Okafor, the physicist who had helped perfect the drive, looked up from his console. The drive is nominal, Commander. We're ready to make history. Let's hope it's the good kind, Chen replied with a slight smile. The crew of 48 represented Earth's best, scientists, engineers, and a minimal security team. Their mission was simple on paper: travel to Proxima Centauri, conduct scientific observations, and return home. Humanity's first interstellar journey. No one mentioned the political pressure behind the mission. Earth's nations had finally united under the Global Space Initiative, but old tensions remained. The Pioneer needed to succeed to justify the massive resources allocated to the program, and to prove that cooperation was the path forward. ESS Pioneer, you are cleared for departure, came the voice of Mission Control. Godspeed. Chen took a deep breath. Helm. Take us out. Standard thrust until we clear lunar orbit. Lieutenant Kazuki Tanaka's hands moved across the controls. Aye, Commander. Thrusters engaged. The Pioneer slipped from Earth's embrace, accelerating past the moon. Once they reached safe distance, Okafor would activate the Alcubierre drive, warping space around them to achieve faster-than-light travel. Engineering reports all systems nominal, announced Chief Engineer Marcus Ross, his Scottish accent pronounced even through the intercom. The drive is purring like a kitten. Chen allowed herself a moment of pride as Earth grew smaller on their view screen. Humanity's greatest achievement, and she was at the helm. None of them knew they were being watched. 4 days later, the Pioneer had successfully made 3 short jumps, testing the drive's capabilities before attempting the main journey to Proxima Centauri. Each jump had been perfect, and crew morale was high. Preparing for 4th jump, Okafor announced, "This will be our longest yet. Half a light year." Chen nodded. "Proceed when ready." The ship hummed as the drive engaged. Space folded around them, and for a brief moment, reality seemed to blur. Then they were through, emerging in a region of space that should have been empty. It wasn't. "Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice was tense. "I'm detecting a massive structure at coordinates 227 Mark 43. Definitely artificial." Chen straightened in her chair. On screen, the view screen shifted to show an enormous space station, its design unlike anything human architects would conceive. Multiple rings rotated around a central sphere, with strange crystalline structures extending outward like branches. "My God," whispered Security Chief David Navarro. "We're not alone." "Full sensor sweep," Chen ordered, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. "And open all frequencies, standard greeting protocol." Rodriguez worked at her console, broadcasting first contact package on all bands. No response yet. "Life signs?" Chen asked. "Difficult to determine with our sensors, but the structure is powered and active," Rodriguez replied. "Wait, detecting movement." Several smaller objects detaching from the station. Navarro tensed. "Ships. They're launching ships." Chen made a quick decision. "Maintain position. No sudden movements. Continue broadcasting. Let's not give them any reason to." The ship rocked violently. "Energy weapon," Navarro shouted. "Direct hit to our port hull." Alarms blared across the bridge as the Pioneer shuddered under the impact. "Damage report," Chen called out. Ross's voice came through, punctuated by the sound of emergency systems. "Hull breach on Deck 3. Containment fields holding, but the drive's taken a hit. We've got fluctuations in the containment matrix." "Return fire?" Navarro asked, hand hovering over the weapons console. Chen hesitated. The Pioneer carried minimal defensive weapons, mostly designed to vaporize space debris. Against an advanced alien civilization, they would be essentially useless. More importantly, firing would confirm, "I am Ilara, Science Director of the Galactic Alliance." The alien introduced herself, the software approximating her harmonic speech patterns. "Your presence here, unexpected and concerning." Chen chose her words carefully. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Space Service vessel Pioneer. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. Our arrival near your station was unintentional. We apologize for any alarm we've caused." Ilara's large eyes narrowed slightly. "Your ship, Scout for Human Armada?" The question caught Chen off guard. "Armada? No. The Pioneer is humanity's first and only interstellar vessel. We're a scientific mission." The alien's expression was difficult to read, but the software suggested confusion in her tone. "Our intelligence indicates Earth prepares many ships. Military purpose." Rodriguez whispered from her station. "Commander, I'm detecting more vessels entering the area. Larger ones." Chen maintained her focus on the diplomatic channel. "Your intelligence is incorrect. Earth is still developing its space capabilities. The Pioneer is an exploratory vessel. We carry scientists, not soldiers." Before Ilara could respond, another alien appeared on the screen. This one reptilian, with crimson scales and a rigid posture that needed no translation to recognize as military. "I am General Kraz," the new alien announced. "Your deception is noted, human. Our deep cover sources have documented your weapons development and fleet construction. This Pioneer is merely the first, the vanguard." Chen felt cold realization spreading through her chest. Someone or something had been feeding these aliens false information about humanity, systematically building a case for humans as aggressors. "General Kraz," she said firmly, "there has been a serious misunderstanding." Earth has no fleet, no armada. We have barely mastered faster-than-light travel, and the Pioneer is our first test of the technology. Lies. Kraz hissed. Your broadcasts speak of an exploration fleet. Your military exercises prepare for interstellar warfare. Your leaders discuss securing humanity's future among the stars. Chen's mind raced. The exploration fleet was a proposed future program, decades away from realization. Someone had taken Earth's aspirational statements and presented them as imminent threats. Commander, Ross's voice came through on a private channel. The drive containment is failing. We need to shut down, or we risk catastrophic failure. Chen kept her expression neutral as she addressed the aliens. We request assistance. Our drive system was damaged in your initial attack. Without repairs, we face a dangerous system failure that could threaten both our ship and your station. She saw Ilara and Kraz exchange glances, clearly communicating through some means not captured by the video feed. Finally, Ilara spoke. We will send technical team. Your crew will not resist. You have my word. Chen agreed, knowing they had little choice. But I also request direct communication with your leadership. This misunderstanding could lead to conflict between our peoples based on false information. Someone is manipulating both of us. As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her officers. We need to find proof that we're being set up, and fast, before Earth sends a rescue mission into what could become a war zone. Diplomacy through action. The Alliance inspection team boarded the Pioneer with an atmosphere of tense caution. Led by Science Director Ilara herself, they'd brought scanning equipment rather than obvious weapons, a promising sign that Chen immediately noted. Your drive technology is surprising. Ilara commented as Chief Engineer Ross escorted them through the damaged engine section. More elegant than our intelligence suggested, yet clearly in early development. Ross raised an eyebrow. That's one way of putting it. The Alcubierre equations work, but stabilizing the field is still more art than science. These containment protocols, Ilara observed, studying the systems, they're remarkably similar to early Lumidian designs from our historical archives. Curious. Chen, who had insisted on accompanying the inspection team, caught the significance immediately. You're saying our independently developed technology resembles your own past developments. It follows a logical progression, Ilara admitted. But your implementation has certain inefficiencies we overcame centuries ago. Not something you'd expect from a supposedly advanced armada, Chen pointed out. Before Ilara could respond, an urgent communication came through to both parties simultaneously. On the human side, Lieutenant Rodriguez received it first. Commander, she called out, face pale, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. The Global Space Initiative has detected our situation, and they're preparing to launch our prototype defense vessel to extract us. Almost simultaneously, Ilara received a communication from General Kraz. Human vessels activating, the Drakari officer reported. Multiple launch preparations detected. The armada begins, as predicted. The moment hung in terrible balance. Chen could see the calculated suspicion returning to the aliens' postures. That's not an armada, she stated firmly. That's a single rescue ship, rushing out before it's ready because they think we're in danger. Which, to be fair, we are. Dr. Okafor stepped forward, addressing Ilara directly. Director, your scanning equipment must be capable of analyzing subspace communications. If someone is manipulating both our peoples, evidence would exist in the transmission patterns. Ilara hesitated, then nodded slowly. A reasonable hypothesis. General Kraz has been monitoring Earth communications since your vessel was detected. Not just Earth communications, Chen suggested. Check your own internal communications too. If someone has infiltrated your intelligence apparatus, the implication hung in the air. Ilara's luminescent skin pulsed with what seemed to be thoughtful consideration. I will need access to your communications array, she finally decided. Combined with our detection equipment, we might identify unusual patterns. Granted, Chen agreed immediately. Lieutenant Rodriguez will assist you." As they worked, the rest of the inspection team continued examining the Pioneer. Chen noticed how their initial suspicion gradually shifted to scientific curiosity as they encountered technology that was clearly innovative but also unmistakably in early development stages. 4 hours later, Rodriguez and Ilara returned to the engine room where Chen was discussing drive mechanics with the alien engineers. "Commander," Rodriguez said, her voice tight with excitement, "we found something." Ilara's large eyes were intense. "Both our communications have been compromised. Subtle alterations in transmitted data, translational errors intentionally inserted, and selected information highlighted to create false impressions." "By whom?" Chen asked. "The source signature is complex and disguised," Ilara explained, "but it contains elements we've encountered before. A species called the Vrexel." "Who are they? Why would they want conflict between us?" "The Vrexel are information manipulators," Ilara explained. "Their philosophy holds that advanced civilizations inevitably destroy themselves when they grow too powerful. They believe they're performing a service by culling potential threats before they expand." Chen processed this with growing anger. They've been setting humanity up to appear threatening, while simultaneously encouraging your alliance to strike first. "The timing makes sense," Ilara acknowledged. "The Vrexel made a formal petition to join the alliance 2 cycles ago, but were rejected due to their documented interference in developing civilizations. This appears to be their response, proving their point that preemptive action is necessary by manufacturing a threat." A sudden alert interrupted them. Rodriguez checked her communicator and paled. "Commander, Earth has launched the Defender, ETA to our position, 36 hours. And Alliance battle groups are mobilizing," Ilara added, receiving her own alert. "High Chancellor Vexlar is hesitant, but General Kraz is convinced this confirms his worst fears." Chen made a quick decision. "We need to get proof to both sides immediately. Can we trace these manipulated transmissions back to their source?" Ilara's expression shifted into what Chen was beginning to recognize as determination. "Not from here. But there is an Alliance Deep Space Communications hub 6 light minutes from this position, with your ship's sensors and our decryption protocols. We could expose the Vrexel operation," Chen finished. "But the Pioneer's drive is damaged. Our engineers can provide temporary stabilization," Ilara offered. "Not perfect, but enough for one short jump." Chen nodded. "Then let's move quickly. If we can prove this manipulation to both sides, we might prevent a war before it starts." The next 18 hours were a blur of frantic activity. Alliance engineers worked alongside the Pioneer's crew to stabilize the damaged drive, while Ilara and Rodriguez continued analyzing the communication patterns. The more they uncovered, the clearer the Vrexel manipulation became. General Kraz remained skeptical, but High Chancellor Vexlar authorized Ilara's investigation after she presented preliminary findings. Meanwhile, Chen maintained constant communication with Earth, trying to slow the Defender's approach without revealing the delicate diplomatic situation. When the Pioneer was finally ready to jump to the communications hub, Chen gathered her senior officers on the bridge. "This will be risky," she acknowledged. "The drive could fail catastrophically. Anyone who wishes to transfer to the Alliance station before we attempt this has my permission." No one moved. "Then let's make history," Chen said with a grim smile. Again. With Alliance clearance codes provided by Ilara, the Pioneer made a short jump to the communications hub, a massive array of satellite dishes and antenna clusters orbiting a small moon. The ship emerged from jump with the drive sputtering but intact. "We have 14 hours before the Defender arrives," Chen noted. "Let's make them count." Working together, the human and Alliance teams accessed the hub's extensive monitoring systems. With Ilara's access and the patterns they'd already identified, they began tracing the manipulated communications back through the network. There, Okafor pointed at a cluster of transmission pathways. These all route through encrypted channels before reaching either Earth or Alliance systems, but the encryption has a recognizable pattern. Ilara's skin pulsed with excitement. Vrexel quantum state messaging. They believe it untraceable, but they didn't account for cross-species cooperation. Layer by layer, they peeled back the deception. The Vrexel had established monitoring posts near Earth years earlier, intercepting and subtly altering public broadcasts and official communications before they reached Alliance intelligence. Similarly, they had infiltrated junior positions in the Alliance diplomatic corps, gradually feeding manipulated information about human development to key decision-makers. We need to broadcast this evidence simultaneously to Earth and the Alliance Council, Chen decided, with irrefutable proof that we're both being manipulated. As they prepared the data package, sensors detected new arrivals. Multiple ships emerging from faster-than-light travel, neither human nor Alliance designs. Vrexel vessels, Ilara confirmed, her voice tight. They must have detected our investigation. Chen glanced at Navarro. Options. The security chief grimaced. We have minimal defensive capabilities, Commander. The communications hub is unarmed. Then we focus on the mission, Chen decided. Broadcast the evidence now, on all channels, uncoded. Let everyone see the truth. Rodriguez worked frantically at her console. Broadcasting, but they're jamming our signal. Reroute through the hub's emergency protocols, Ilara suggested. Direct tight beam transmission to both Alliance headquarters and Earth. As they worked, the Vrexel ships closed in. The Pioneer shuddered as it took a glancing hit. Hull integrity at 82%, Ross reported. They're being careful. They want to stop the transmission without destroying the evidence. Keep broadcasting, Chen ordered. Evasive maneuvers, but maintain our position near the hub. The ship danced through space, taking hits but staying functional as the critical data streamed outward. The Vrexel ships pressed their attack with increasing desperation. Commander, Rodriguez called out suddenly. I'm detecting new arrivals. Multiple signatures. The view screen showed ships emerging from faster-than-light travel, the distinctive designs of Alliance vessels, led by an enormous command ship. And behind them, a smaller but unmistakable human design. The Defender arriving earlier than expected. For a terrible moment, Chen feared they were too late, that both sides would see the confrontation and open fire. Instead, a transmission cut through all channels. This is High Chancellor Vexlar of the Galactic Alliance, came the chittering voice. Vrexel vessels, stand down immediately. We have received the evidence of your manipulation and deception. A second voice joined in, the commanding tone of Admiral Helena Way from the Defender. This is Earth Defense. We have also received the transmission and verified its authenticity. We are standing by to coordinate with Alliance forces. The Vrexel ships hesitated, then scattered in different directions. They're running, Navarro observed. And both our sides are talking instead of shooting. Chen added with relief. Mission accomplished. 3 days later, Commander Chen stood in the Grand Alliance Council chamber on Helios Station, the first human ever to do so. Beside her stood Admiral Wei, who had arrived with the Defender, and Dr. Okafor, whose technical expertise had proven crucial. High Chancellor Vexlar addressed the gathered representatives of 30 species. The events of recent days have been most illuminating. The Vrexel attempt to instigate conflict between our alliance and humanity has failed, thanks to cooperation between Science Director Ilara and the crew of the human vessel Pioneer. General Kraz, looking somewhat chastened, added, We have apprehended several Vrexel operatives within our intelligence services. Their manipulation was skillful. We were too willing to believe the worst of a new species. Earth made similar mistakes, Admiral Wei acknowledged. When we received the distress signal from the Pioneer, we assumed hostile action rather than considering misunderstanding. We rushed to military response when diplomacy was needed. Chen stepped forward when invited to speak. The Pioneer's mission was one of exploration and scientific discovery. We never expected to make first contact so soon or under such circumstances. But perhaps it's fitting that our peoples met through crisis and found common ground through cooperation. Ilara's luminescent skin glowed with what Chen now recognized as approval. Commander Chen and her crew demonstrated the best qualities of their species: adaptability, creativity, and a genuine desire for peaceful resolution. These are qualities the Alliance values. Therefore, Vexilar announced, the Council has voted to extend an unprecedented offer to humanity, not the traditional centuries-long observation period, but an accelerated path to Alliance Association status, with cultural and scientific exchange to begin immediately. Admiral Wei smiled. Earth accepts this offer with gratitude and excitement. The Pioneer was meant to be the first of many exploration vessels, not an armada, but a bridge to the stars, and it seems, to new friends. As the formal proceedings concluded, Shen found herself standing with Ilara near a viewport overlooking the vast station. "Your ship needs extensive repairs," the science director observed. "Our engineers are eager to assist. They find your solutions to drive stability quite creative, if unorthodox." Chen smiled. "Humans have always been good at improvising. I imagine we'll learn proper methods from the Alliance now. And we may learn new approaches from humans," Ilara replied. The Vrexel were correct about one thing: species can become complacent, set in traditional ways of thinking. Your perspective may be refreshing. Looking out at the stars, Chen considered how differently this first contact might have ended. One misunderstanding, escalating to conflict between civilizations that should have been allies. "The Pioneer was supposed to be the first of many," she said thoughtfully. "But I never imagined it would pioneer something like this." Ilara's translator captured her harmonious laugh. "The universe is full of surprises, Commander Chen. That may be the one truth all spacefaring species eventually learn." As repairs continued on the Pioneer and diplomatic discussions expanded, the crew found themselves celebrities among both humans and aliens. Their mission had changed history not once but twice. First, by reaching beyond their solar system, and then by forging humanity's first interstellar alliance. Not bad for a ship that was never supposed to be the vanguard of an armada.